Clearly, all white people do not want to see black people hanging from trees. So why say such a thing? I just recorded another video asking white women, in a nutshell, how do you reconcile saying the problem is, and this isn't all white women, it's just I'm specifically asking mostly white feminist women, and most importantly white feminist women. I was asking them, present day feminist women, when you say the patriarchy is the problem, old white men are the problem, how do you reconcile such a thing when your fathers, sons, uncles, whatever, are white men? How do you say that they're the problem, but it's also who you married, who fathered you? This video, something that I can speak on a little bit more intimately, because I'm on this little bit of a self-hate dissection. And the bit of self-hate that I can talk about is a self-hate that I know is definitely in the black community. You're black ass, you dark skin. I'm not going to go back and say any of the racial epithets that have been hurled toward black people. I'm just going to say the ones that are said within our community that sort of judge you based on the hue, the color, pigmentation of your skin, or the way that you talk. You know, you talk white. Most of us have heard that. Jeez, I don't know how many times I've heard that. I don't hear it as often as some other people probably hear it, but I've heard it. You ugly, you black, his nappy ass head. Why do we self-hate? He ain't real. Oh, you fake thug. You want me to be a real one? I'm not judging thugs at all. I'm just saying, what does that even mean? What level of hate is that when you call somebody a fake thug? Because you want them to be a real one? Maybe they're talking about pretending to be something that you aren't. Pretending to be a tough guy, a thug, and you really aren't that. Maybe that's what people are getting at. But maybe not with the nappy head, your black ass. Oh, she light skinned, she got pretty hair. The closer you are to looking like Beyonce, the more desirable you are within the black community. Halle Berry, maybe. She was always the hallmark for a lot of people. A little bit older now, though. I'm not going to lie to you. I do not think all people are beautiful. But I think there's beauty in all things. Just because you don't prefer something or someone made you mad, I think to target them in ways that you are also similar to them. You see my hair. I guess I have a nappy ass head. Or maybe that's a style right now. I just want people to be a little bit more, black people specifically, less harsh with each other. I've definitely been called an Uncle Tom. I've been called an Uncle Tom by someone who raised me. I was curious. I'll tell you the story. I have a cousin, and this cousin was supposed to go to Duke. They wanted to go to Duke University. And this was in about, let's say February or March of their senior year of high school. Younger cousin of mine. And this cousin went down and toured the university. Came back and I said, hey, how was the tour? I love it. I love the school. Love the atmosphere. It has my major. The price isn't all that bad. I don't remember all the details, but my cousin was ecstatic about Duke. September rolled around, and the cousin was still here, and I'm like, "What's going on? What are you gonna do? What are you you gonna go to Duke? What's happening? Are we waiting? Are we holding off on the semester? Are we saving money? What's going on?" Trying to get down to the nitty gritty. Reasonable dose. I was reasonable even then. This cousin said something to me. He said, "Oh, I'm not going to Duke." Why? Why not? What happened? There's too many white people down there. I think at that time I was maybe 23, somewhere in there. And cousin was about 17, 18. Or maybe I was 22. So what do you mean? Too many white people at Duke. What do you mean there's too many white people at Duke? What does that mean? His cousin was only was born in like the late 80s or whatever, and too young to have said such a statement. Too young, hasn't gone through any pain, never was enslaved or anything like that. And I was wondering why the tune changed so drastically. The tune just changed. Too many white people. I said, so what's the plan? I'm going to go to Bowie State. Okay, that's a fine school too, but I'm just... No. Let's go back to there's too many white people. I'm sorry. When you went down on your college tour, did they put all the white people in closets and hide them so you didn't know they were there? Did they tuck them all away? Did they tell, oh, it's black kids tour day, take your ass somewhere else? And they just hid all the white people, put them in a gymnasium and just didn't let them come out? Is that what they did? Or did you go down there and the white people were everywhere, the black people were all over? Everybody was everywhere doing their thing, and you just like the environment and the atmosphere. What are you talking about? There's too many white people. I then learned that this cousin had talked to family. You don't want to go there. All those white people down there. It's a lot of racists. You don't want to go there. Boo! Racist scared. Boo! You racist scared now? Did not attend Duke. School that this cousin was over the moon for. Loved it. I was motivated. I said, wow, this is great. You'll be able to have different experience, be around different people, live a different life, see different things, have that college experience is great. I've never had that college experience, but I was happy for them to potentially have that. So when they didn't and chose not to because there were too many white people, I said, oh my gosh. So fast forward. I was listening to some Al Sharpton radio show here in Baltimore. I think it's 10:10 a.m. or something. And one of the people in the show said that all white people, one of the callers in said white people want to see black people hanging from trees. There was no caveat. There was no some white people want to see black people hanging from trees. Some white people. I met this one white guy that I knew was racist because of this or that. They said all white people want to see black people hanging from trees. Like I said, this is the reasonable dose, and I felt that was an unreasonable statement. And I was driving to work, and I usually don't call in to talk radio shows, but I called into this one. I didn't really call in because of what the caller said. I called in, and I don't listen to that show frequently. I called in because of the lack of rebuttal and dismiss from the host. I think it's called The Coach and something. So Al Sharpton comes on that channel, but this was not the Al Sharpton show. It was some coach something. I'll see if I can look it up. Maybe if I can, I'll link it down in the description below. But this host did not say, whoa. All white people want to see black people hanging from trees? First off, I was just taken aback at all of this racist talk. I was shocked. I've worked with a lot of people. I've been around a lot of people. Black, white, Asian, Indian, Native, Hispanic, a lot of people. And in some cases, black people were horrible, black people were good. White people were horrible, white people were good. You get my point. So to say that all white people wanted to have us hanging from trees and motivated me to call in, and I said, what are you guys talking about? And they were older than I was at the time. I think I was maybe 23 or 24. So 2 kids. Because I remember I gave my stats. Because I first said I was thinking of my cousin and the fact that they didn't go to Duke because there were too many white people. But they didn't feel that when they came back. They only felt that after they talked to some other black people, older black people that they knew. So then I made the comment that I feel like the only way we'll change is when black people like you die off and take your racist views with you. Because you're polluting the younger generations. That's what I said. Die off? Oh, this Uncle Tom, you don't know who you talking to. Don't you dare. Where do you get off? This boy don't know shit. It was bad. I said something to the effect of, you don't know all white people. How could you make such a statement? I said, I'm 23 years old. Like I said, I think at the time I was 23. 23 years old. I have 2 children. I'm not going to teach them that all white people want to see them hanging from trees. I can't say that. It's a lie. It's factually wrong. You can't say that. Why are you saying that? You're putting hate into someone. Why are you doing that? That was just my whole thing. They weren't having it. They weren't having it. Uncle Tom this, Uncle Tom that. Fast forward, because I cut hair. Well, at least I cut my own hair. I cut my son's hair, and I used to cut my father's hair. And I was cutting my father's hair one day, and I'm like, I told him what happened. I told him what I'd said, but something wasn't right about that conversation from the start. Something compelled me to ask him, what do you think about that? He said, think about what? I said, to be specific, them calling me an Uncle Tom. And I even became a little bit fearful of the answer, because I said to him, you raised me to be colorblind. I'm not saying that I am colorblind. I see color. You didn't raise me to see race first. You raised me to see what people do first. So what do you think about the fact that they called me an Uncle Tom? And he said, I understand that. I felt even more uneasy. Now, I wanted to ask more specifically, do you agree with that? Do you agree that I am an Uncle Tom? Because I said that they had racist views by saying all white people want to see black people hanging from trees. Am I really? Do you agree that I am an Uncle Tom for that? Yeah, I could see that. And maybe even today I still want to tell myself that he was trying to reconcile something to maybe I'm just trying to make myself feel better that he didn't really say that. He doesn't really think that, not wholeheartedly anyway. But I learned a lot in those couple of weeks while my cousin didn't go to Duke, despite her very positive feelings about it. Hearing all that racist stuff on the radio show, calling in, being called an Uncle Tom, and then going to go ask the person that shared raising responsibilities with my mother, that raised me to be colorblind and fair and just. My name is Justin. I remember asking when I was little, why is my name Justin? It's like, because it means justice. And I don't know, since I was 3, I kind of remembered that. I don't know, it's not like I was trying to live up or down to that. It's just, I don't know. I wore it, the badge, I guess. Justice, Justin. Not that I'm holier than anybody, but that was a really tough one. Man, that was a tough one. And I learned what people were that day. I learned that no matter who you are, no matter who you are supposed to be to other people, you may not be that, because their motive is their motive. And if his motive is down with whitey, if I start standing in the way of that, I'm an obstruction. If the people on the radio, their motive is all white people want us hanging on trees, I'll never disabuse them of that. Think of that statement for a minute. That is clearly not true. Do you know how many people we would have being killed, and what actual race wars we would actually have if all white people wanted black people hanging from trees? And some of them actually try to do it? I'm not talking about somebody getting jumped or something like that happening, even somebody getting killed. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that if all white people were literally just walking around thinking like, man, I'm gonna hang one today. I'm gonna hang one. And like 2% of them actually went out and did it. Oh my gosh. Black people would arm themselves, white people would arm themselves, and there would just be a full-on race war. It would be terrible. Clearly, all white people do not want to see black people hanging from trees. So why say such a thing? This video wasn't supposed to go in this direction, but I felt the need to share that story with you. life can sometimes give you lemons. Man, you gotta find a way to make lemonade out of it. I think that's the only reasonable way you will survive some of the disappointments life can throw your way. I need somebody out there to go to Duke